My name is Ryan McNulty. I'm a junior LSM at Loyola University of Maryland, and I'm from Exton, Pennsylvania. I started playing lacrosse the summer going into 8th grade. I retired from baseball and picked up a stick because a family friend named Chris Flynn, who played lacrosse at Penn and played for the Philadelphia Wings, was a family friend of my dad and showed me the game. I started playing FCA lacrosse going into my sophomore year of high school. Drew Wardlow called my dad and asked us to come out to Florida to play for the U15 national team. And ever since then, I fell in love with the whole atmosphere that FCA lacrosse has to offer. My first FCA lacrosse experience in Florida, after one of the first games we had, instead of just going to hang out with my parents or going to get something to eat, the team came together in a hallway to study some Bible passages, and that was a really eye-opening experience for me because that brought my teammates and I together that I had just met and really brought God into it, which was what made it special. FCA lacrosse helped me integrate my faith with the sport just by accepting a failure on the field and being able to relate it to a Bible passage or a specific quote that we had gone over earlier in the day, like a theme. It really was an inspiration for me. It was a privilege attending Bishop Shanahan High School based off of the benefits of the Catholic faith background that they had to offer. It was a really special experience to me. Each and every lunch period, we had about 15 minutes to take time and just reflect on our day or clear our head, and that's what kind of spiked my faith. And then there was a retreat that the school offered called Kairos, and you could go on it as a junior or a senior. I was fortunate enough to go twice my senior year, the first time as a regular retreat student and the second time I was a leader. Each time had different benefits and different faith-based experiences that I would like to call like landmarks in my spiritual journey so far. But those specific experiences are something that I can always lean back on when I'm having a hard time, and I'm able to look back at those and, you know, kind of reminisce on my faith journey and how I can keep learning and keep going from there. A moment that kind of shaped my faith in my spiritual journey was I went on a retreat with a couple of my friends in Steubenville, Ohio. It's called the Steubenville, Ohio Youth Conference. The way that I found my faith there was through my friends and through everyone seeming so happy that they were finding and chasing God, and that's something that motivates me today. My faith has been able to grow at Loyola for a plethora of different reasons, but I would kind of lean back on two of them. And number one is in our locker room pregame. Every single game, we all take a knee in the middle of the locker room together and say the prayer of St. Ignatius of Loyola, and it really just gives us 5-10 seconds to just kind of relax and get rid of the pregame nerves and point our attention to God, and that's really important to me. And then the second one is a 10 p.m. Mass that we have every Sunday. My freshman year, I would just go just to check it out, and the people there are people I'm still friends with and close with today, just because our shared liking towards the faith and the journey to, you know, get to God and get closer to Him. My freshman year at Loyola, the day before the Johns Hopkins game, I broke my foot in practice pre-game, and the next day I played on it and made my injury a little bit worse, so that had me out for the rest of the season. I was pretty angered for many different reasons, mostly that I couldn't play, and you know, all the hard work that I put in the fall. But I was able to lean back on my faith and kind of console myself in a couple different ways. You know, I was able to trust in God for the future that He had for me, and looking back now, it's something that, you know, has benefited me in a multitude of different ways, just because now I feel a little bit more experienced, and technically a sophomore right now, eligibility-wise. So I think that was God's special way of helping me out a little bit. Sometimes I used to think that it was maybe a little bit embarrassing for people to, you know, follow their faith, and I thought it was really interesting when I noticed last year, my sophomore year, that a couple seniors were looking for a church to go to, and I jumped right on the opportunity and asked them if they wanted to come to the 10 p.m. Mass that I usually went to. That was more music-based and really lively and filled with energy. And we went almost every weekend in the season. It was almost like a little ritual, and that's something that I'll remember forever, just because we brought our faith from the lacrosse field back to the church and then back to the lacrosse field, and that was very special to me. Growing up in Philly, it was really cool to see Carson Wentz, go out there every game and perform as well as he does while serving God. And his saying is audience of one, playing for God, and I think that's really important. And that's been an influential saying in my own life when I'm on the field. I definitely have tried to implement that in my own time.